Hi guys, welcome to my sports world. Just finished watching the UEFA Champions League match between Old Boys and Manchester United in Bern in Switzerland, and I'm pretty shocked. I am pretty darn shocked. I have to say that this game was we lose. We lose the game. We lost the freaking game against a backyard team in Switzerland. We lost it because of a few things. We lost it because a few players, well, not only a few, a lot of players decided not to show up and play the game today. We lost it because of some players decided to do stupid things. We lost the game because we had no antidote to against stupid decisions and stupid choices. So where do we start? Well, we can start with, okay, first half wasn't great. We didn't come into flow. Bruno did good. Ronaldo did good. We scored a goal. That was the good thing. Then the terror and the horror story started right after that. Well, about probably 20 minutes after that. Wan-Bissaka think it's okay to go in with stud first. I'm not saying this is read by the book, by any rule book or soccer, football law book or whatever. No one is stating that that was a correct red card because I don't think it was. I saw it over and over again. I think red was harsh. But for sure, it's a foul and a yellow card, you know. But Wan-Bissaka can't lose his mind and do these tackles because we have seen time after time that in Premier League this might have maybe gone and been okay with a yellow card. Most referees in the Premier League would have said, yeah, it's a foul, a yellow card. When we come to the UEFA Champions League and the Europa League and international games, we have seen it time after time that referees are soft. This referee was soft. Wan-Bissaka should have never done that. He should have never gone in. It wasn't a clear fight for the ball. He didn't go clearly in to get the ball. It was one of those, you're better off backing off or not doing anything. But he had to go in there, stud first, ankle high. It was right above his ankle joint. That's going to be, if you have the right judge or the wrong judge that are a little bit soft, he's going to pull the red card right away. And he did. And that's when the nightmare started. We did fairly well the last 10 minutes of the first half. But I don't know what was said in the half and in the break. But we came out in the second half wanting to defend a 1-0 lead for 45 minutes. Unfucking heard of. We have seen time after time, not just with Manchester United, but with many teams, that defending a lead when you go down to 10 men, even defending a lead, 1-0, 2-1 lead for 5-10 minutes at the end of any game, has proven to not work. If you get passive and you want to defend your lead, you're going to invite the opponent to do stuff. And as soon as they get blood on their teeth and they get the taste of blood, they're going to start going at you like crazy. That happened in this game, and it happens in every other game I have ever seen. I've seen maybe defending a 1-0 or a 2-1 lead for 2 or 3 minutes where you go down, you spend the time down by the corner flag at your opponent's side. But what we saw in this game was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Harry Maguire takes a free kick from his right outside his own 16-meter box, 18-yard box, and just out over the sideline. Just give the ball away. With 40 minutes to go. De Gea do the same thing with a goal kick. When he's kicking the ball out from the 6-7 yard box and just over the sideline with 45 minutes to go. That was right after the break. We see stupid decisions on where to pass the ball. We see passive players not wanting to go into duels because they're just backing off. And we're seeing young boys pushing on and pushing on and pushing on. I said we're going to see a young boys goal. If we keep on this for another 30, 40 minutes, they're going to score. And they did. They scored. And there was like, when they scored, I think it was like 30 minutes left, 32 minutes left. It was in the 60, around 58 to 60 minutes mark. And I'm thinking, okay, 1-1. Are we going to go up and try and score? Or are we going to fall back and do the same defending shit? And guess what we did? We fell back and we did the same defending shit. Then you have Matic. I think it was Matic. I got so mad I just walked up and walked away, turned the TV off. I think it was Matic. In a situation where he has one player pushing or pressing him, he could have passed the ball forward to himself, to the side to him. He had two fellow teammates not too far away from him. What do he decide to do? He decides to do a sloppy, soft, backward pass across his body, with his right leg across his body towards De Gea, with two young boys players between him and De Gea. The ball was so soft, there was no power to it. De Gea didn't have a chance, because where this happened was right outside the 18-yard box. So of course De Gea is inside his 6-7 yard box. And when that pass is so soft, it didn't even reach the 11-yard mark. You had two young boys players chasing the ball. One good dude got it and just put it high up in the corner. Past De Gea. 2-1. We lose the game. This game is lost because players have been told in the halftime to defend a 1-0 lead, which never works. It's the wrong tactics. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer get a fluke for that one. Wrong tactics. Wrong tactics. Then you have players who seem to freak out by doing this. And they clearly are not good enough to do it. So, defending a 1-0 lead for 45 minutes, what is the reasoning behind it? What is the reasoning behind it? You have all these star players and you don't go to chase a goal. It's about winning. It's not about not losing. If you have this mentality with playing soccer not to lose, you're going to lose. You should have the mentality it's all about winning. Even with one man down at 1-1, I thought it was wrong to go back and sit back. When they scored 1-1, you should have told your players, scrap the plans, scrap the shit that I talked about, let's go forward. If we lose 2-1 trying to score, that's okay. But it's not okay to lose 2-1 by laying back and trying to defend and then do stupid personal mistakes. Players today who did multiple personal mistakes and multiple poor decisions are Harry Maguire, Matic, Fred, Donny van de Beek, Wan-Bissaka, Sancho did a few. The only ones that I give a pass for today is Bruno and Ronaldo. And both of them were taken off. Why? Why in the hell was Ronaldo and Bruno taken off? Those are the two players that give you the best hope of scoring a goal. I like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager for United. I think he's the right man for the job. I'm not going to sit here and say Ole out. I'm not that dude. But we have seen this time and time again, every now and then. There's certain games that get away from him. And in those games, he's running behind the carriage and he can't get a hold of it again. And in those games, he does the wrong mistakes. Sadly, those are the games that mean something. Today, it's not a very meaningful game, but it can be in the end. It depends. But for the most part, I think he does a good job. But there's certain games where he shows his inexperience, and that's what it is. Inexperienced coaching. I understand that he learns every game. I know he will take away stuff from this game and learn from it, but he should have learned a long time ago that sitting back, defending a 1-0 lead for 45 minutes, have never ever been done by anyone with great success. It's what got Mourinho fired. It was what it's a Mourinho football. That's what it is. Score a goal and defend for 45 minutes. That's what Mourinho does in every team he's been at. That's not Man United football. Man United football is to take risks and to go and just trash the opponent no matter what. Even if you're 10 men. If you're 1 man down, you go out and you do your best to win the game, not to not lose it. You don't go out on the field to defend, to not lose a game, but you go out there to fight for a win. We didn't do that today. That was our downfall. That's where we have to become better. And I'm sorry, but taking off. Let me address the substitutions. When Bissaka got the red card, I understand that Sancho had to come off. Or, no, one player had to come off, and we had to get a right back in. I understand that. Because you have to have a left back and a right back. Who should have come off instead of Sancho at that moment? Fred. Fred was the one that had to come off, not Sancho. That was the first mistake. The second mistake was the other 4 exchanges. I think taking off Ronaldo and Bruno was wrong. Instead of taking those off, you know, taking off Donny van de Beek was okay. Replacing him with Matic was okay, but I wouldn't have done it. What I would have done instead of going 5 back, I would have stayed with 4. Try to have an offensive mind. You rather want to lose trying to win than losing that trying not to lose. So I would have taken Lindelof off, put Varane in, and I would have stayed with Ronaldo and Bruno. I would have taken Van de Beek off, put Lingard in. Go for it. Go for it. I think that the wrong things that happened was we got the wrong tactics done after the red card. That changed the whole game, and I think we panicked. I think we you could see it in the players. They got passive. We didn't win any duels in the midfield. They were running around. They were running in between. Now, should we have a penalty with Ronaldo? That's a cheap one. That's a soft one. I don't think that was a penalty. Maybe he uses his elbow a little bit, but it's not enough to warrant a penalty. And you could see this going on. All the players were like, they wanted. It's almost like if we played not to lose, and it was like we were playing to create cheap chances that really wasn't there, and we played to kind of like see if we could get other players on young boys to get a yellow or a red card to even the odds. That's wrong. That's not what your focus should be about. Your focus as a football team is to win the game and go and score goals, not to defend a very fragile 1-0 lead for 45 minutes, because that was what we were doing. This game went so wrong in so many ways very fast. And I want to say that the main ones to blame for this loss. I can see people will be blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but you know what? You can't blame him for the lack of fight and the lack of effort that the players have on the field. They didn't do anything, and when they did it, it was poor decisions. Look at look what Harry Maguire did with that free kick. He gave the ball away. David Gea gave the ball away. Pogba was passive in the midfield. He didn't go in and use his muscles and stuff like that. He was passive. Matic was passive when he came on. Van de Beek was passive. Bruno was passive too, but he was maybe one of the hardest workers. But we were so passive in one-on-ones, and we got caught on the wrong side of the bed again. This happens in a few games. I've seen it before, and when it happens, those are the games we lose. And this was I feel like we lost. I hate to say this, but we lost rightfully lost because we played so bad and we did so many mistakes. Oh, here we go again. And I want to say one other thing too. I have never. I don't think our players liked the. It looked like artificial turf. It looks like it, and it looked like we were uncomfortable on that artificial turf. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but if you're as a player, I've been an active player for 22 years. I played on many levels. I was even in the higher level, and I can tell you when I played on grass, it was such a good feeling. Win, lose, draw. It was a good feeling to play on grass. When we played on artificial turf, and I played on a few different ones, AstroTurf, the very first one that came out in the 90s, late 80s and 90s. I mean, the first time I played on artificial grass, I think it was either the late 80s or something like that. And there's many different types. Some of them are literally grabbing your shoe. And back then we played with flat sole shoes on artificial grass because studs was like running on a slippery slopey ice thing. So we used flat bottom shoes, and so I know that I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel good, and I was a goalie, and I didn't feel good on the artificial turf thing. And I know like a lot of the players that were doing deep runs and fast runs and stuff like that, they didn't like it either. And the ball gets a special bounce. And I'm sure that the turf has changed over the years, but back then it was like grabbing your heel, grabbing your foot. It was really bad for injuries as well. So a lot of players get a little bit reserved on that kind of turf, and they can't play the play they want because the bounce of the ball sometimes. Let me tell you, it hurts a lot more to hit the ground on an artificial turf. But so that everything of this played in. I see us beating this young boy team at home. They're not that good. The only reason they became good today was because we were playing with 10 men and we did a lot of individual mistakes. I see us beating these guys comfortably at Old Trafford. But I also see that these guys at home can create trouble for Villarreal and Atalanta. They are used to playing on this turf, and they have this home support. This is one of those teams that has a very good home feel, and they rely a lot on their home result. So I can see these doing an upset against Villarreal. I can see them doing an upset against Atalanta, or at least give those guys a run for their money. I think that the Villarreal and Atalanta fits us better too, and I think that both of those teams has normal grass, genuine grass fields, and we do too. So, this is one of those games you put in the bag and you forget about it. It pisses me off right there and then. because we had this 1-0 lead. We should have gone out and protected it. Defending it is not protecting it. You have to go. Even with 10 men, you go and you try to get the second goal. Learn from it. The history has shown, year after years, decades of football have shown that defending a 1-0 lead for extended period of time is not working. It doesn't give any teams success. If you want to do it for 1 or 2 or 3 minutes at the end of a game, so do it and so be it. But you don't do it for 40 freaking 5 minutes. Until next time, guys, take care.